This is my cat, Con. I adopted him, just like my father was adopted by his parents. And unfortunately, I probably won't ever know who Con's real mother and father were, but I hope to find out who my father's parents were. But I've had a lot of barriers to it. This is a series of videos I've done on it. Here's the situation. My father was born in Alabama in the 40s, was adopted in Georgia, and he never could get the adoption records. And then he died before ever finding any information about who his parents were and what his background was in terms of ethnicity and health and so forth. I have sort of taken an interest in this, as it's my heritage too, and so under the Georgia law, that now that he's dead, I have the same rights he would have. But it's a lot more complicated than I thought. I was initially told I just had to petition the courts in Georgia, and they would, you know, just give me his file and say, here you go. And those files would contain, like, the name of his birth parents, the situation, and so forth. Well, I petitioned the court, Muskogee writes me back and says, there's a whole bunch of other steps you have to take. We have no authority to give you these records. That was a bit of a setback, and then I read the law a bit more closely, and it seems that I have to go through this public-private agency called the Georgia Adoption Reunion Registry or something, which is funded by the Department of Human Resources, as well as this private organization called Family First, I believe it's called. And what they do is they can do a search, whereas I give them $300 US, and they will look at the actual birth records of my father and try to find living relatives and they will confidentially contact them and then say, would you like to be in contact with, you know, this person who is your nephew, brother, cousin, or whatever. And the person on the other end could obviously say, oh yes, I would love to, and be very receptive and say, I would love you to be part of my family, or neutral, or maybe even just say no, react very negatively. That kind of ticks me off, because maybe I'm a bit of a control freak, but I believe that I have a right to know this information. And the information being the name of my grandparents, a little bit about them if possible, and their ethnic and medical background. I want to see it on the freaking paper. I want the documents. I just want to look it over and make my own decision. I don't like this idea of sending a huge amount of money to this private, public organization and just having them decide how to do it and then piecemeal out the information to me as they see fit. It's a very paternalistic, condescending, shitty way to get these answers to these questions, and I'm a little frustrated by that, as it seems to be the only way I can do this, and I'm just going to have to go down that route, I guess, but yeah. I think that with adoption records, it should just be freaking given to you guys, to whoever has a right to look at it. And I wonder if this is just a way for, like, the government down there to make money off people and control their lives even further than they already have.